Hello, my name is Rai, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over some different Pokemon buffs for the Pokemon Pachirisu. This practice of giving buffs and changes and new moves and whatnot has been a passion of mine for quite a while now. I've been doing it for, well, unofficially for years, just for fun. And I decided, hey, maybe I could make some content out of it, right? Anyway, so Pachirisu. I'm just gonna give a brief overview of what Pachirisu is all about. Pachirisu is, it's fast. Well, okay, it has a decent speed tier of 95, and it's trying to be bulky, but with that pretty bad HP, well, very mediocre HP, and the only okay defenses, it's not really super bulky, and it's also a pure electric type. Those often aren't super great defensively. And what's even worse is that its offenses are both 45, so it can't even really do anything with that, and so its best option is a more bulky supportive set focused around spreading paralysis with Nuzzle, and that's about it. That's about all it really does. Its only useful ability being Volt Absorb, which, don't get me wrong, it's nice. An immunity, and not just an immunity, but an immunity that will heal you upon being hit. That's great, especially with the prevalence of electric type moves being flung around. But it's one of those abilities that are really good on a Pokemon that's already good. Pachirisu is not. If you want to hear more detail and go into more detail about what it can and what it does do in practice, then I would definitely check out False Swipe Gaming. Their YouTube channel all about going over the history of competitive Pokemon, so just look up their channel and look up Pachirisu, and there's a video up about this exact Pokemon and going over everything you need to know about it. And we can actually get into the changes now, since I think that's about all I need to say, since it doesn't really do anything otherwise. So I've changed this Pokemon a good deal. I guess I'll go ahead and just get into it. So I kept the typing the same. It's just still a pure electric, and about half of its stats have stayed the same, being its HP, attack, and special defense. But I've raised its defense, special attack, and special defense. Oh, sorry, I kept the speed the same. Sorry, not special defense. And I have given it 2 new abilities, as well as like 10 or 11 different new moves. So we'll go ahead and get into it. So like I said, Pachirisu is an electric type. Well, the good Pachirisu is what I could call it. Is an electric type with 60 HP, 45 attack, 85 defense, 95 special attack, 110 special defense, and 95 speed. So it's a pretty bulky, sort of fast, sort of hard-hitting enough Pokemon with, well, as you'll soon see, 3 different useful abilities and a couple of different moveset options and different ways that you can use this Pokemon outside of just simply a Nuzzle spammer. So that bulk is definitely far better than it was, gaining 15 points in defense, 20 points in special defense, helping it out, defensively, and a massive 50-point bonus to its special attack, making it actually hit decently hard. In all reality, I feel like it's more accurate to give it like 85 or 90 special attack, but I was like, hey, what the heck, why not, you know? Because this Pokemon, it's not like even with the buffs I gave it, it's going to be suddenly like an OU Stomper or something, you know? It might get underused in Scarlet and Violet. Maybe. Probably not, though. Onto the abilities. So it kept Volt Absorb, but Pick Up and Runaway literally did like nothing competitively. And so I changed them out for two different abilities. The first one being Gluttony, and the second one being Fluffy. Fluffy, I feel like it makes sense. I mean, look at it. It's a rodent with like a massive fur tail that it, hides itself in, and it's like, okay, boom, Fluffy, kind of makes sense. Gluttony, the main reason why I gave it Gluttony is because it's kind of a nod to base Pachirisu's like one good showing competitively being VGC, so the doubles format in Worlds one season, and it was on the winning player's team, and he actually brought it to the last match and won with it, which was crazy. And it held a citrus berry, so this is kind of like a nod to that, but also it kind of makes sense, It's a rodent, it's eating stuff, right? Just to let you know, just in case you don't know, Volt Absorb first, it makes you immune to electric type moves, and it heals you for being hit by them. Let's see, Gluttony. What Gluttony does is, it basically will have you eat berries, like, earlier than you would otherwise. So, I believe how it works off the top of my head, you'd think I would have looked it up before starting the video. I looked it up before. Anyway, if I remember correctly, it makes berries that will activate at 50% now activate at 75% of your health, and berries that activate at 25% of your health now activate at 50% of your health. So there's some cool stuff that you can do with it. I won't go over it right now, and I'm probably just, if I do go over it, just make it somewhat brief, but it is something definitely interesting, something that I think could be seen used, especially with one of the moves I gave it later on. And then Fluffy will half the damage of contact moves, but the drawback is that you're now weak to fire type moves. So Fluffy just gives you one additional weakness. And it's a especially with fairies around it, it's a fairly common weakness, so that's pretty bad. But it, not for every, physical move, of course, like Earthquake is still going to chew through you, but it definitely helps out your not super impressive physical bulk with this Pokemon is, especially if you invest in it. It will definitely help you live a lot more physical hits, since a good deal of them are contact, as well as the few special attacks that are contact. But those are the three abilities and the moves that I added. Some of these may seem a little iffy, but just bear with me, I'll get through each of them. The first one in alphabetical order is Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is a special attacking fighting type move that never misses, and it's just good coverage, good special fighting type coverage to hit certain things, like, for example, like rock ground types that are immune to your stab. You can use this to hit them super effectively in return. It's not the most powerful move, but it's nice. It's something helpful that's there. The next one I added was Baton Pass. I don't know if this would ever see play because Baton Pass may or may not be banned. I do not remember. This was made with Scarlet and Violet in mind, by the way. So I don't know if it's banned there. But I thought that it would be cool to give it Baton Pass, just because, really. To like pass certain like stat boost, which there's a particular move that I got further down in the list that would make Baton Pass more worth using. The next one is Draining Kiss. Draining Kiss is just it helps you hit these dragon types that also resist your electric type stab, and it also heals you for a massive amount. And so it's just good for coverage. And if you're running like an Assault Vest set or something, with like Fluffy or Volt Absorb, then Draining Kiss would definitely be a great option on there for the, if not for the super effective hit on dragon types and other such Pokemon that you might want to be hitting with it, primarily dragon types. If not for hitting those, it is definitely there being helpful when it comes to healing you up, since it heals for 75% of the damage done, which is crazy. The next one's definitely a very good move, in my opinion, on it, is Heal Bell. It's a rarely distributed move that is very valuable, and similar to stuff like Spikes and Rapid Spin, you can put it on a subpar Pokemon and suddenly make that subpar Pokemon actually decent. And so, I didn't put it on there specifically to make it decent. I felt like it wasn't super weird to put it on there. I felt like it made some amount of sense to give it Heal Bell. And, you know, weirder Pokemon have gotten stranger things, so it's not super crazy, but I think it's cool. The next one is Morning Sun, being an instant recovery move, which is something that Pachirisu was sorely lacking as a more defensively minded Pokemon. So this is definitely a welcome addition to its moveset. And then the next one is also a just about as equally welcome addition to its moveset, being Nasty Plot, which is the move I was talking about possibly being used in tandem with Baton Pass. Nasty Plot just doubling your special attack, which is great. And then if you want to, you can pass Nasty Plot to a special attacking recipient to just hit stupid hard. And it's gonna be great. The next one is probably the most iffy, the most, like, strange, in my opinion, out of all of the moves that I added. But just bear with me here. I decided to add Shed Tail. Shed Tail, just in case you don't know, since it is one of the new Scarlet and Violet moves, basically will make it, like, you'll pay half of your health to make a substitute, and then you'll switch out, giving that substitute to the Pokemon that switches in. So it's kind of like a switch move with a substitute added together for the price of half of your hit points. This is obviously going to be far better in tandem with, well, not far better. I think it would be better in tandem with something like a Gluttony set with some like Healing Berry, like the pinch berries that heal. I'm pretty sure they nerfed those to 30%, right? Or to 130 your HP, not half of your HP. But you can use it with that to get back a ton of your health back after switching out. Or you can just simply keep it with Fluffy or Volt Absorb. I'll leave that up to you. But it's there. Let's see. So that's Shed Tail. It's an amazing move. I feel like just that, along with Morning Sun and Nasty Plot, just those three moves would be enough to buff this thing up, along with the other changes that are already there. The rest of the stuff is kind of just icing on the cake. And the next move is also one of the more strange ones, but I've decided why not, because, hey, if Garchomp can set spikes, then why not Pachirisu? If Frostlass can set spikes, why not Pachirisu? So, as was stated, I decided to give it spikes. Why? Because why not? If a flying metal bird can set up spikes, then why can't this electric rodent? So it has spikes. I feel like that'd be good on, well, whatever set you want to run that can fit spikes, I guess. Spikes is, enough said. It's just a good move that's not super widely distributed. So just handing it out to something will instantly bump it up at least a bit in my mind. The next move I decided to give it was Switcheroo, which is basically just the same thing as Trick. Just in case you don't know what either of those do, they will switch the held item of the user and the target. So you can Switcheroo, you can have like an offensively minded choice specs or choice scarf set or something, right? And if this annoying wall switches in, you can Switcheroo on it, crippling it for the rest of the game, right? That's the basic idea. You can do other stuff with Switcheroo. I'm pretty sure you can even do it if you have no held items, so just taking, if I'm wrong about that, sorry, but I'm pretty sure you can Switcheroo or Trick just stealing the opponent's item even if you don't have anything, as long as it's not something that can't be stolen. But since this is meant to be for Scarlet and Violet, I don't think there are any items like that. At least none that you'd commonly see, like a Mega Stone or a Z Crystal. And so you can just Switcheroo after eating a berry with like the Gluttony set or something and just steal some target's leftovers or something, right? And that's obviously really annoying. This is mainly just a move to be annoying to the opponent. The next one is probably the least important out of all of the moves that I added. This is one I just kind of added because it thematically makes sense. Tickle. It's a tiny little rodent. If that thing can nuzzle you and do all those other stuff, why can't it tickle you? If you think it's stupid, if you're thinking, why did you bother adding that? It's not likely to be used. I know. It just makes sense, okay? Just look at it. Look up a picture of Pachirisu. That thing can definitely tickle you. And the last one, but definitely not least, is Yawn. Yawn is just a great move for forcing switch outs and punishing the opponent if they choose to not switch out. It's a very useful move, and it's great for it can be used offensively or more defensively. It gives Pachirisu another status to spread beyond paralysis. It's just a really good move. That's pretty much all I have to say about it without going into like stupid detail about interesting ideas I had with it, with these changes, but in the end, I'm putting this out here to hear what you think about this. What do you think about these buffs and changes? What do you think about the moves given or the abilities changed or added? Do you think that some of this stuff is, I shouldn't have been done? Do you think I should have increased its stats even more? Do you think I should have given it a dual typing? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. Anyway, that's about all for me, so I hope that you all have a blessed day, and fare thee well.